Today is September 8th, 2008. My name is Joe Todd. This is an interview with David Sisk in Bartlesville, Oklahoma for the National Archives. David, where were you born?
I was born in Toledo, Ohio.
When's your birthday?
December 27th, 1944.
1944. Who's your father?
Francis Charles Sisk, deceased.
And your mother?
Edith Ruth Gable, who's a second cousin to Clark Gable. Sisk.
Did you go through school in Toledo?
No, I did not.
Where'd you go to school?
Well, I started in Holland, Ohio, in kindergarten, first grade, really. And then we moved from there to Monroe, Michigan. And I went from the second grade up until high school there. In between, well, the sixth grade, we moved to California. My dad was a salesman, a car salesman. And things in Michigan weren't too hot. There's not much going on there. So we moved to California, Altadena, California. And I spent the sixth grade there, and then, well, of course, like every person's life, you know, there's always a divorce in there. My folks got a divorce, and my mother and I moved back to Michigan. And I spent from the 7th grade to the 12th grade back in Monroe, Michigan again.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then the things get a little rough back there with my mother being in we're the only ones back there. My brothers were already gone. And yeah, we moved back to California again. I graduated Santa Ana High School,
What year?
1963.
Santa Ana. In your schooling, who was your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher was my music teacher. Actually, she's my English teacher. Mrs. Ruggilia, Ruglia.
Why was she your favorite?
Why? Well, she's just a kind person, and she had a heart of gold.
Now, you said, what'd you do after high school?
I went ahead and worked at a place called Borg Warner in Santa Ana, California. We built the nose cones for the space shuttles. I was there for about a year, and then meanwhile I was going to weekend meetings in the Naval Reserves.
Okay. What'd you do at Borg Warner? What did you do?
I cut out the nose cones.
Okay. Oh, what are those nose cones made of?
You know, I don't remember.
Now, when did you join the Naval Reserve?
I joined the Naval Reserve in February of 1963.
Now, why'd you join the Naval Reserve?
I had a friend, a very good friend of mine, because at that point I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and he got me interested. He took me over to Los Alamitos, California, and I got signed up over there. And from then on, I went to weekend meetings and worked on the P2Vs.
What's a P2V?
It's a patrol plane for observation.
Now, where'd you go for your boot camp?
I did not go to boot camp because going through the reserve program, I made rate enough to where I didn't have to go to boot camp. At that time, they said if you make E2 or E3 that you didn't have to go to boot camp. So I just went on active duty in 1964.
Now, did you go to aircraft mechanic school?
No, I did not. I learned everything on the job.
On the job. Okay. So what did you do on this airplane? What was your job?
My job was an aviation ordnanceman. I loaded sonobuoys and SUS, which is sound underwater signals. They're an electronic. It puts out an electronic signal. It's like sonar. It gives a ping, find out where the submarines are at, and sends it back to the ship. I mean the plane.
And the airplane is the P2V2? Is that
The
how-
P2V.
P2V. What type of airplane is this?
It was a 2-engine turboprop. Had a light at the end of the starboard wing. It was mainly used for locating submarines.
Now, you said,
Submarine.
when'd you go on active duty?
February 1964.
Now, did you request active duty, or were you put on active duty?
I requested it due to the fact that I found out that our unit, VP 772, was going to be called up to go to Vietnam.
And what was your unit?
VP 772.
VP
VP.
772. Okay. So your unit was going to be called up going to Vietnam.
Right.
So you requested active duty.
I figured if I was gonna go, I must just go the other way.
So where'd you go when you went on active duty?
I went to VR 21 in Barbers Point, Hawaii.
Now, what is VR 21?
They're a fleet support squadron. And what we did, we shuttled the Seabees and Marines and everything going to Vietnam. Our stops were from Barbers Point, Hawaii, to Wake Island, to Guam, to the Philippines, and then on over to Vietnam.
What type of airplanes did you fly?
The C-118s.
Yeah, what type of airplane?
It was a C-118.
Okay, now what's a C-118?
It's the old R6, R6D civilian equivalent.
And who made that?
Douglas.
Douglas, okay. Now, what was your job in the unit?
I was a loadmaster.
And what are the duties of a loadmaster?
To ensure that the plane is loaded properly and make sure the troops are taken care of as far as food and water and restroom facilities aboard the aircraft.
And so how many trips did you make? Did you fly into Cam Bay or where?
No, we flew into Da Nang.
Da Nang. Okay. When did you make your first trip to Da Nang?
October 65.
First time you landed in Da Nang, what were you thinking?
I was scared.
Why?
Why? Because when we landed, there were the Viet Cong was right over on the other side of the hill, which was called Monkey Hill, and they were shooting it out over there and lobbing mortar rounds on the airstrip. The fact is, before we landed there, we had to divert the night before because they blew up 35 helicopters on the runway. We couldn't land then. We had to go back to Guam and RON over there and then go back,
RON,
return overnight.
okay. And, how many trips did you make to Vietnam?
In that squadron, I only made one trip,
Oh, just one trip,
just one trip.
okay. And then, how long were you in the, VR-21?
I was there 2 years.
Where were you based out of?
Barbers Point, Hawaii.
Barbers Point, Hawaii. In Hawaii, what was the reaction of the local people to you being in the military?
Well, myself, I was kind of welcome there because being a California boy, I had a good suntan. And they more or less welcomed me as one of their brothers.
Now, where's Barbers Point located?
Barbers Point is located just north of Honolulu
Okay.
on the island of Oahu.
Is that anywhere close to Pearl Harbor?
Yes. It's probably 20 miles.
Did you go to the Arizona?
I went by there, but I never went on the Arizona itself.
What did you think when you saw that?
Terrible. Terrible. Thinking back years ago what them guys went through.
So what's your most vivid memory of Barbers Point, Hawaii, and the unit?
Oh, they were friendly people, and you know, everybody's like a family. Of course, in the Navy, everybody's a family anyway. And we all worked together and played hard and worked hard.
Now, when was the Gulf of Tonkin incident? When did that happen?
The Gulf of Tonkin, I was in VA 27 at that time.
When was that? When did that happen?
When I was there?
No, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, you know, when Johnson said the North Vietnamese attacked the U.S. and all that.
I believe it was 65 or 6.
Okay. So you were in active duty then when that happened.
Right.
And when you heard about the Gulf of Tonkin incident, what did you think?
Scared. Didn't know what I was getting into.
And what unit were you in at this time?
In 66?
Yeah.
I was in VR 21.
Okay, you were still in VR-21.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you were in VR-21 during the Gulf of Tonkin.
Right.
Okay. Did your duties in the unit change before and after the Gulf of Tonkin?
Well, I got transferred out of VR 21. I went to VA 27 in 19. Well, I got out of the Navy for a while, and then I looked around and saw all those hippies urinating out of flags and burning the flags and everything else like that. And their love beads and I just looked at myself and looked around the world and said, what's this country coming to? So I went back in the Navy in May of 1967
Now, where did this happen when you saw the hippies?
at Terminal Island, San Francisco, California,
When was this?
February 1966.
So were you discharged from the Navy at this time?
I was discharged.
Okay.
I went home for a while. Like I said, I went home for a while, and you know, I got to looking around, and I said, forget it. I'm going back in the Navy. So I went and joined the regular Navy. and they sent me to Lemoore, California.
Where?
Lemoore, California, Lemoore.
Okay. And what's at Lemoore, California?
It was a naval air station.
Okay. What'd you do there?
Well, I went through what they call the RAG outfit, which was VA 122, which is the home squadron. And I spent, I don't know, probably 2-3 months going to school, learning about the A-7 aircraft and the hydraulics, the electricity, and what it can do. And then after I got out of school, I got sent to the squadron, which is in December '67. And then
Where was your school?
Lemoore, California.
Okay, it was in Lemoore. Okay.
It's more or less training.
Okay.
VA 122 was a training outfit.
Okay.
And I was on the line division, bringing in airplanes and launching them.
Now, what is a line division?
Line division takes care of the aircraft. They tied them down for the storms and chalk them and clean them.
Now, is this on an aircraft carrier?
No, this is on land base.
On land base, okay. Okay. And this is at Lemoore?
This is at Lemoore.
Okay, okay. How do you tie the aircraft down?
Tie down chains, depending on how the weather is, whether it's a light, they use a 3-point tie down, and if it's heavier, they use more chains.
Okay. And how long are you at Lemoore?
I was at Lemoore for another 2 years. So I went to VA 27, and then in 1968, after going through all the workups, getting ready to go aboard ship, in 1968, May of 1968, I can remember that today. It was May the 31st, because I was listening to the Indianapolis 500 on the way out, out of San Diego. And we headed Westpac. We headed for the Western Pacific, going to Vietnam. On the way over, of course, we stopped in Hawaii and picked up supplies, and then we headed on over there.
What ship are you on?
I was on the USS Constellation.
Is that an aircraft carrier?
Yes.
Okay. When you were leaving the U.S. heading out, what were you thinking?
New experience. New experience.
So what'd you do?
Well, before I was in the ordnance shop.
Mm-hmm.
I made 3rd class and I went to ordnance shop. Mm-hmm. And we loaded, downloaded weapons of all kinds, missiles, rockets, bombs, guns. And
What type of aircraft did you have?
it was an A-7A Slough.
Now, what is an A-7A?
That's an attack. It's Corsair 2.
Okay.
It was a turbojet engine. I'm trying to remember how to describe it to you. It's hard to tell you.
Now, were you assigned to the Constitution?
The Constellation.
Constellation, I'm sorry.
I was assigned to VA 27, which we were embarked aboard the USS Constellation There was like 9 squadrons of airplanes on there.
So where was your base when you got over to,
We stayed aboard ship.
you stayed aboard ship?
Mhm.
Okay. Where were your quarters on the Constellation?
Where? Back aft, underneath the catapult resting gear. So at night when them planes come in, we didn't get much sleep. Because them planes would come in and they'd grab a hold of those wires with their tail hooks and just screech across the flight deck. They didn't get much sleep. Of course, out there at sea, there's nothing much else to do but work, eat, and sleep. Mostly work.
Now, what does the A-7A do?
The A-7 is a light attack aircraft that delivers multiple ordnance. It's like scoot, get in there and get out.
Now, what was your job in the VA-127? What did you do?
In VA-27?
I mean, on the Constitution.
the
Constellation, not Constitution. I'm sorry.
My job was to load and download the planes, our squadron planes, when they come back from doing their runs out there, strafing runs, they call them.
How many planes in your squadron?
9.
Was there ever a time when one of your planes did not come back?
Yes.
What did you think about this?
But now I think about it. I only prayed that the pilot made it out and was coming back. A lot of the CIA helicopters picked them guys up. Fact is, there was one instance, our commanding officer, George T. Pappas, commander, was shot down over Laos. He nearly took out a hangar, getting shot down over there. And they brought him back, and he's all battered and banged up after ejecting from the airplane. And that was kind of...
Was he your squadron commander?
He was our squadron commander.
Okay. But he made it back okay?
He made it back.
Okay.
He wasn't in very good shape, but he made it back.
Yeah. How long were you on the Constellation?
We were gone... Oh, let's see. We left May 31st, and we came back in January of the following year. From May 68 to January 69, which was what, 8 months, 9 months?
What's your most vivid memory of that time?
July the 4th. We were sitting out in Tonkin Gulf. Of course, 4th of July. And I could see all these bombs and rockets going off and flares in the air, and you could hear it. We weren't too far off the coast of Vietnam out there, but you could hear all that stuff going on. And I was just thinking, a lot of lives are being lost over there.
When did you come back to the States?
We got back in February of '69. We got back.
And what did you do?
We unloaded all the airplanes, and of course everybody took their personal leave to be with their wives and loved ones. And then that lasted probably a few days. And then we got back in the routine of getting back in the groove again, going to Fallon, Nevada, and Yuma, Arizona for bombing runs, and going out to the range out there in Fallon for these pilots so they can get their gunnery practice in.
You ever think of going to flight school?
I gave it a lot of thought.
Why didn't you?
One thing, I didn't have enough money. And I was married at the time.
So how long did you stay in the Navy?
I did 22 years.
22 years.
I got out in May of 1985.
1985. For after Vietnam, were you involved in Grenada
No.
or Panama?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So, besides Vietnam, what is your most vivid memory of your Navy career?
Well, there's some other things I left out when we were over there in Vietnam on board the Constellation. We were doing what they call cyclic hops one night.
What's a cyclic hop?
We would send airplanes out, and as soon as they dropped their bombs and stuff like that, they come back and we'd load them back up. And this was a 24-hour operation. And if they had little holes in them, we'd just put a piece of tape on them, seal up the avionics bays. But October, I'm not sure what exact day it was, of 68, we were doing this cyclic hop thing, and I was going down to go to chow. Of course, this is at night, and they turn the red lights on in the hangar bay. That's all I've got is red lights, because at night that's all they turn on is the red lights. Well, I happened to come down off of there, off the flight deck, going down the ladder, and stubbed my toe on a chain, a tie-down chain for one of the airplanes, and one of the airplanes was under-serviced. The strut was under-serviced, so it was leaning like this. And we've got this fiberglass pylon, and I caught my head right there in that pylon. It cut me open. I had two guys ask me what was wrong. I said, "What do you mean?" Of course, you know, over there it's hot and humid and everything. I didn't know whether I was sweaty nor what, but the guy says, "Man, you got a lot of red stuff running down your face." He says, "You're bleeding." So they took me down to sick bay down there, and they shaved my head right in here, sewed me up, sent me back to work, gave me a couple aspirins. That's the way the Navy was. Just need you back on deck.
Mm-hmm. So, what'd you do after the Navy?
I got out. I went to Las Vegas and tried to get on the post office there. Didn't pass the test high enough. I got a 95 on it. They wanted people with 100. Yeah, at that time. That's something. And of course, my dad was living in Bullhead City at the time, and he asked us to come up there, so we went up there and stayed there. And I worked there. I got a job across the river over Laughlin, Nevada, in a casino, working in a coin room, counting all the money. What a job, huh?
Now, when did you get your discharge?
I got my discharge, and my final discharge,
Final discharge.
my 30-year discharge, I got it in 1993.
1993. Now, when did you come to Bartlesville?
I came to Bartlesville in 1987.
Why'd you come here?
Why? Well, like I said, we were up there with my dad, and my wife's sister had lost her husband and her brother. So I looked at my wife and I told her, we said, we can't do any worse. And so we come back here to help her. She's got 13 acres out here. So I've been there ever since.
What's her name?
Marcia Hutchison.
Okay. So you get a job here, you just retire?
Do I have one now?
No, did you retire then, or?
No, I got a job here.
Where do you work, if I may ask?
I don't work right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm out of work.
Okay. Would you join the Navy again?
I sure would. I sure would. I definitely would.
Today, when you hear the name Ho Chi Minh, what do you think of?
I get real silent. Why? Because the blood starts to boil.
Yes. Lyndon Johnson.
That's another one. That's another sore spot. He didn't run the White House. His wife did.
Richard Nixon.
That's not too bad.
Da Nang.
You want to fight? Yeah? Don't mess with this guy.
You are. Go ahead.
I'll jump underneath the table.
When you hear UR-21, what do you think of?
VR 21?
VR-21, I'm sorry.
I think all the camaraderie that we had there, and like I said, everybody played hard and worked hard, and we all worked together. It was a good squadron.
VA-122.
Of course, that again, it was a training outfit, and there are good people there. A lot of good people, a lot of good instructors, and showed us the ropes before we went out to sea.
VA-127.
No, that's 27.
Oh, 27. I'm sorry. VA-27. When you hear that, what do you think of?
A lot of things. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things. There again, everybody worked together, but I saw so many things that I don't care to repeat.
USS Constellation.
Good boat, good ship.
George T. Pappas.
I wonder where he's at.
Hippies.
My blood's starting to boil.
What?
My blood pressure just went up.
What do you tell people today about Vietnam?
I try not to say much. I try to keep it all within me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they think, oh, well, that was just a police action. You know, it is, yeah, well, you weren't there, bud. You know, that type of thing.
Why were we in Vietnam?
You know, that is a darn good question. I never have been able to find out the true answer. Can you tell me?
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm glad I'm home and safe and got all 4 limbs. Losing my hearing, losing my eyesight, but you know, that comes with everything else.
Well, sir, this is an excellent interview.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for your service and thank you for the interview.
Thank you very much.
And again, this is September 8th, 2008. My name is Joe Todd. This has been an interview with David Sisk for the National Archives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's continue. Go ahead.
As an added part of this interview, when I was out in 1966 until May of or April of '67, I went ahead and I went down to the Army recruiter, and I asked the gentleman, I said, "Sir, what can you do for me? Or what can I do for my country?" He says, "I can sign you up right now. We'll send you to helicopter school, make you a warrant officer, and send you to you know where." And when I found out where I was going to go and what the life expectancy was, I said, "No, thank you. I'll go back in the Navy." End of.
What is your best memory of Vietnam?
The best?
Your best.
I have no best memories.
I'm going to ask a question. What is your worst memory of Vietnam?
Oh, watching guys get their limbs blown off and just it's a sad thing to watch these guys die and have their limbs blown off and their face disfigured. And
Where did this happen?
where?
Yeah.
Oh, when I was in VR 21, because we used to bring them back out of there, take it back.
So you were flying what kind of a medevac?
Yeah.
That's a rough job. Medevac. What else?
That's all. Well, there is one other thing. When while I was in VA 27, I was asked by the Air Force to transfer over because they needed aviation ordnancemen in the Air Force for the A7 program. And I had 2 years left of my enlistment, and the Navy would not transfer me, even though the Air Force was begging for me. I was ready to go, but the Navy wouldn't let me go.
Was there much cooperation between the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, and the Marines in Vietnam?
Yeah, there's quite a bit. A lot of good communications and family working together sort of thing.
Now, was Tet over with when you went back in Vietnam, or back in the Navy? Because it started in late January or late February '68.
No, no, it lasted longer. I mean, I was right in the middle of the Tet.
Yeah. What'd you think about Tet?
I really didn't know too much about the Tet. All I know is that it was just work, load them up and send them out. I never gave it too much thought.
Whenever you loaded up when you were flying the medevac units, where'd you take the wounded?
Where?
Yeah.
Some of them went to Tripler Army Hospital there in Hawaii. And the rest of them they got, when we landed there at Barbara's Point, there was another plane, a DC-8, which they call a Stretch 8, which is we loaded the wounded, and they sent them back to Walter Reed.
Now, when you were off the coast of Vietnam, how far from the coast was the Constellation?
I say probably 10 miles.
Did you see the coastline?
Yep, sure did.
What's the country of Vietnam like? Is it flat, hilly, mountainous?
Jungle, hilly.
So what do you think about the Americans on the ground over there?
Felt sorry for them. I really did. All that monsoon season and chopping through the water and marshland.
That brings back memories.
Yeah.
What else?
That's all.
Okay, thank you.